When people get scared, they run to gold. But here's the problem. Fear is a terrible investment strategy. Warren Buffett likes to say that if you're buying something because you hope someone else will be more scared next year, you aren't investing. You're gambling on human misery. If you took all the gold in the world, every necklace, every coin, every bar in every central bank vault, and you melted it down into one single solid cube, it would only be about 68 feet on each side. Now, keep that image in your head. You could put that cube right in the middle of a baseball infield. You could stand on it, you could take pictures with it, you could even pet it, but it would never pet you back. And it certainly wouldn't deliver a single thing of value to the world until the end of time. Today I want to tell you why I'd trade that entire pile of gold for a single herd of productive cows, and why you should too. Now folks, I hear it every single time the headlines get a little scary. Gas prices go up, there's trouble across the ocean, or the folks in Washington start arguing again. People get anxious, and when people get anxious, they start looking for safe havens. They want something they can hold, something that's been valuable since the days of the pharaohs. They want gold, but Charlie and I, we don't want to hide in a safe haven. We want to live in a productive field, because the math of wealth isn't based on what people are scared of today. It's based on what people need tomorrow. You see, there are two kinds of things you can buy. The first is what I call a non-productive asset. That's your gold, your silver, or that fancy painting of a soup can. These things don't do anything. If you buy an ounce of gold today and you lock it in a drawer, you can come back in 100 years and you've still got an ounce of gold. It hasn't produced a widget, it hasn't paid a dividend, and it hasn't served a single customer. It just sits there looking back at you. When you buy gold, you aren't investing in a business. You're betting on the greater fool theory. You're hoping that in a year or a decade, somebody else is even more anxious than you are today, and they'll be willing to pay you more for that shiny metal than you paid for it. That's not investing. That's a gamble on human misery. And Charlie Munger always told me, Warren, betting on the end of the world is a very poor way to get rich, because if the world ends, your gold isn't going to save you anyway. Now let's look at the second kind of asset, the productive one. This is my favorite part. Imagine I offered you two choices. Option A, that 68-foot cube of gold we talked about. At today's prices, that's worth about $15 trillion. Option B, I give you all the farmland in the United States, over 400 million acres that produces corn, soybeans, and wheat every single year. And on top of that, I give you 7 ExxonMobils. Even if you're the most nervous person in the world, you'd have to be a little bit crazy to pick the gold. Why? Because the farmland is a productive cow. Every year it delivers a fresh crop. Every year it feeds people. Every year that land is working for you while you're asleep. In 100 years, the gold bar is still 68 feet wide. But the farmland? It has produced trillions of dollars in real wealth, fed 1 billion people, and probably bought you 10 more farms with the profits. Productivity is the only true fountain of youth for your money. Now, some folks say, but Warren, what about inflation? Gold is a hedge. Well, let's think about that. If inflation goes up 5% or 10%, the gold bar doesn't care, it just sits there. But a great business, a business with pricing power, like See's Candies or Coca-Cola, that's a much better hedge. If it costs more for sugar and cocoa, See's Candies can just raise the price of a box of chocolates. People still want their chocolates for Valentine's Day. The business adjusts to inflation because it's providing something people value. A cow doesn't care about the Federal Reserve either. If the dollar loses value, the farmer just charges more for the milk. The production stays the same, but the income goes up. That's a moat that no pile of metal can ever match. Gold resists inflation, but a productive business conquers it. I started Berkshire Hathaway back in 1965. A share was about $19. An ounce of gold was about $35. If I had taken all that money and put it into gold bars, I'd have turned $19 into about $2,000. Today, now that sounds like a success to some people, but because we bought insurance companies, railroads, and factories, because we bought productive cows, that same $19 is now worth over $600,000. I'll take $600,000 over $2,000 every day of the week, and twice on Sundays. That is the power of compounding productivity. It's not about finding the hottest thing, it's about finding the thing that works the hardest for you. So when the news gets loud and the world feels a bit dark, don't go running for the safe. Go running for the fields. Find a business that produces something the world needs, and then sit back and let the cows do the work. If you found this bit of Omaha common sense helpful, go ahead and poke that subscribe button for more. It doesn't cost an ounce of gold, and I promise it'll be a lot more productive for your portfolio. We'll see you in the next one.